The day humanity arrived at the Deathworld Council. With blood on their ships, reached its pinnacle as Colonel Helena Cross faced down conspirators from both worlds amid explosive chaos. While her ship bled from precision strikes, she made the crucial choice that defined humanity's galactic future: restraint over retaliation, exposing corruption over vengeance, proving that even apex predators could choose peace when everything burned around them. Space bent around the humanity's wrath as the massive warship decelerated from its interstellar jump. The vessel's hull, etched with battle scars from a dozen conflicts, gleamed ominously in the light of Aegis, the neutral planet that housed the Deathworld Council's orbital station. Captain Helena Cross stood at the command bridge, her steady gaze fixed on the approaching structure that resembled a massive asteroid converted into a technological marvel. The year was 2187, and humanity had spent centuries harvesting and colonizing Deathworlds, planets with environments so hostile they were classified as fatal to most sentient species. Earth itself, with its varied climates, predatory fauna, and volatile weather patterns, was considered among the most dangerous. Humans had turned their evolutionary crucible into an advantage, using Deathworld flora and fauna to forge bioweapons and train specialized military forces that had conquered swaths of the galaxy. Approaching DWC orbital perimeter, "Colonel," announced Lieutenant Reeves from the navigation console. "They're hailing us." Helena nodded, her dark hair pulled tight in a regulation bun that emphasized her sharp features. She wore the uniform of Earth's Expeditionary Fleet with the insignia of the Stella Fury Division, an elite squadron assembled to protect Earth's interests against extraterrestrial threats. "Open communications," she ordered, straightening her posture. This meeting would determine the future of human-alien relations for generations to come. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing a being encased in exoskeletal armor. Its face, if it had one, was hidden behind an atmospheric filter mask, standard protection for the toxic environment's delegates brought with them from their homeworlds. "Colonel Cross of Earth Vessel Humanity's Wrath." The alien's voice was translated through the ship's systems, sounding both metallic and fluid. "I am Counselor Arcole of the Deathworld Council. Your arrival has been anticipated." The pause was deliberate. Helena knew, for centuries, humanity had been the boogeyman of the galaxy, the upstart species that had emerged from its planet with blood on its hands and conquest in its heart. Today marked the first official diplomatic mission to the DWC after decades of tentative ceasefires. "Counselor Arcole, we come under the banner of peace and mutual cooperation." Helena replied with practiced formality. "The Earth Confederation seeks formal recognition and membership in the Deathworld Council." "So you claim," the counselor's breathing apparatus hissed. "Docking protocols have been transmitted. You are permitted one shuttle and a contingent of 10 representatives. All must wear atmospheric converters. Weapons are forbidden within council chambers." The transmission ended abruptly, leaving Helena staring at empty space. She turned to her executive officer, Commander Tobin. "Prepare the diplomatic team. And Tobin," she lowered her voice, "have Security Chief Vega arm the team with concealable defense measures. Nothing offensive, just protection." "Understood, Colonel." Tobin nodded, his weathered face revealing nothing. "Should we also prepare for refueling? Our bioconverters are running at 60% after the long journey." Helena considered this. Their ship's engines ran on synthesized compounds derived from Deathworld organisms, efficient but volatile fuel that required regular replenishment. "Request permission to access their Deathworld biological reserves. We'll need a fresh supply before returning to Earth space." As Tobin departed to carry out orders, Helena stepped to the viewport, watching the massive station grow larger. The structure was an engineering marvel, a hollowed asteroid retrofitted with docking bays, defensive systems, and massive biodomes that replicated the hostile environments of a dozen Deathworld species. This was where decisions affecting billions of lives across hostile planets were made by those who understood what it meant to evolve under constant threat of extinction. She felt the weight of Earth's future on her shoulders. This mission wasn't just about diplomacy, it was about survival. Intelligence reports suggested that several Council factions were pushing for quarantine measures against humans, viewing their rapid expansion as a threat to galactic stability. "Colonel," a voice interrupted her thoughts. Major Suri Amani approached, her scientific officer's uniform impeccable, dark eyes reflecting the starlight. "I've analyzed the atmospheric composition data from the station. Their air recycling systems are uniquely designed. They don't filter toxins. They manage them in separate chambers for each species." "Meaning?" "Meaning each delegation brings their own death with them," Suri explained. "It's a symbolic gesture. Everyone at the table is equally vulnerable." Helena nodded. "An elegant system of mutually assured destruction on a microscopic scale." "There's more," Suri continued, her voice dropping. "I've detected unusual biochemical signatures in their communications. The Council is nervous about our arrival, more than standard protocol would dictate." "They fear us," Helena stated flatly. "No," Suri's eyes narrowed. "They're afraid of something else, something that coincides with our arrival." Before Helena could probe further, the ship's alarm systems blared to life, red warning lights bathing the bridge in crimson. "Security breach in Cargo Bay 3, the automated system announced. "Biohazard detection in progress." Helena's hand flew to her sidearm instinctively. Cargo Bay 3 housed their refueling systems and biological containment units. "Full lockdown," she commanded. "Security teams to Cargo Bay 3. Suri, you're with me." As they rushed through the ship's corridors, Helena's mind raced through possibilities. Sabotage. An accident? The timing was too perfect to be coincidental. When they reached the cargo bay doors, Security Chief Vega was already there with a team in hazmat gear. "Report!" Helena demanded. "Sensors detected an unauthorized bioagent when we initiated pre-flight checks on the refueling systems," Vega explained. His broad shoulders tense beneath the protective suit. "It appears someone placed molecular triggers in our fuel lines, designed to activate when we attempted to connect with the station's biological reserves." "Triggers for what?" Helena asked, though she suspected the answer. "Based on preliminary scans," Suri interjected, checking her handheld analyzer. "They would have converted our fuel into a weaponized pathogen upon mixture with DWC biological compounds." Helena's blood ran cold. "Someone wanted to make it look like we were attempting to poison the station." "Or worse," Suri added grimly. "The resulting compound would have been airborne and adaptable to multiple species' biologies. It could have wiped out the entire Council." Helena's face hardened. This was more than sabotage. It was an attempt to trigger interstellar war with humanity as the obvious aggressor. "Contain the threat. I want to know who had access to our systems, and I want to know yesterday." She turned to her communications officer. "Inform the Council station we've detected a security breach, and request a delay in docking procedures pending investigation." "Colonel," Suri hesitated, "if we report this, they might see it as confirmation of their suspicions about human aggression. And if we don't, and something happens, we'll be responsible for genocide," Helena countered. "Transparency is our only option." As the security team worked to contain the bioagent, Helena made another decision. Contact General Vrax directly. Vrax was the military commander of the DWC forces, a veteran from the Score homeworld, a Deathworld known for its carnivorous vegetation and acid storms. If anyone could understand the tactical implications of this sabotage, it would be him. The communication took several minutes to establish, and when Vrax's image appeared, Helena could see only the gleaming exoskeleton armor that covered his insectoid form. "Colonel Cross." His translated voice was deeper than Arkol's. resonating with authority. Explain this delay. Helena laid out the situation concisely, watching for any reaction behind the impassive mask. I'm inviting your security team to inspect our systems. This appears to be an attempt to sabotage not just Earth Council relations, but potentially trigger a biological catastrophe. There was a long pause before Vrax responded. I will come personally. Prepare a secure docking protocol for my shuttle. The transmission ended, and Helena turned to Suri. That was too easy. He didn't seem surprised. Perhaps he wasn't, Suri suggested. If Council intelligence suspected something like this might happen, then why not warn us? Helena's eyes narrowed. Maybe they wanted to see what we would do, Suri theorized. Whether we would proceed with the attack or expose it ourselves. A test, Helena muttered. One with incredibly high stakes. As they prepared for Vrax's arrival, Suri continued analyzing the bioagent, while Helena reviewed security footage from the cargo bay. Nothing showed tampering, suggesting the sabotage had occurred before the ship departed Earth, or someone aboard had exceptional skills at avoiding detection. Colonel, Suri called, her voice tight with tension. I've isolated the bioagent's molecular structure. This isn't alien technology. Helena joined her at the analysis station, studying the complex patterns displayed on the screen. You're saying it's human-made? I'm saying it has human signatures. The base compounds include modified elements only found in Earth laboratories. Specifically, Suri pulled up another display. Compounds patented by Helion Dynamics. Helena's jaw tightened. Helion Dynamics was one of Earth's largest weapons manufacturers, with government contracts for developing defensive systems against Deathworld threats. That can't be a coincidence, she murmured. But why would they sabotage an official Earth mission? Perhaps not everyone on Earth wants peace with the Council, Suri suggested quietly. Before Helena could respond, the ship shuddered slightly as Vrax's shuttle docked with the Humanity's Wrath. She straightened her uniform. Keep analyzing. Find me proof we can present to Vrax. I'll greet our guest. Helena met Vrax at the docking bay, flanked by security officers. The general towered over them, his exoskeleton armor gleaming under the lights. The atmospheric converter attached to his mandibles hissed rhythmically. Colonel Cross, his translator, rendered the clicking sounds into words. I trust this matter is as serious as you indicated. Follow me to the cargo bay. General, my science officer has made some disturbing discoveries. As they walked, Helena noted the way Vrax studied the ship's interior, not with curiosity, but with the calculated assessment of a military commander evaluating a potential threat. Your vessel is impressive, he commented. Built for war, not diplomacy. Earth learned long ago that the two often go hand in hand, Helena replied evenly. But today, our mission is peace. Peace. Vrax's translator couldn't quite capture the inflection, but Helena sensed skepticism. Humans have a unique definition of that concept. Before she could respond, the ship rocked violently, throwing them against the corridor wall. Alarms blared again, this time with greater urgency. Explosion in Docking Bay 6, came the announcement. Hull breach detected. Helena's communicator activated immediately. Colonel, it was Tobin. We've got an unauthorized shuttle attempting to dock at Bay 6. They breached our outer doors with some kind of molecular acid. Security teams to Docking Bay 6, Helena ordered, then turned to Vrax. Was this your doing? The general's posture shifted, mandibles clicking rapidly beneath his mask. This is not DWC protocol. My shuttle is the only authorized approach. Another explosion rocked the ship, stronger this time. There, through the inner doors, Tobin reported. Boarding party in combat gear. Colonel, they're wearing mercenary insignias. But the equipment looks like specialized Deathworld assault gear. Helena made a split-second decision. Commander, initiate Defense Protocol Theta. Non-lethal measures if possible. But protect the ship. She turned to Vrax. General, It seems we're both being played. I need to get to the bridge. You can come with me or remain under guard here. I will accompany you, Vrax decided, after a moment's consideration. I wish to see how humans handle treachery. They rushed to the bridge, accompanied by security personnel. When they arrived, the tactical display showed multiple red indicators throughout the ship's lower decks. Intruders are moving systematically toward the cargo bays and engine room, Tobin reported. They're well-trained, using formation tactics consistent with military operations. Mercenaries don't move like that, Helena observed. Those are professional soldiers. Suri, what's your status? I've completed the analysis. Suri's voice came through the comm system. The bioagent is definitely Earth-made, specifically Helian dynamics. It's a prototype called Compound N778, designed to target specific genetic markers across multiple species. It was rejected by Earth's Ethical Sciences Committee 3 years ago. Helena processed this information rapidly. And now it's on my ship, about to be blamed on humanity if it reaches the Council Station. Vrax stepped forward. Colonel, if what your officer says is true, then we face a common enemy. Allow me to contact the Council Station. Helena hesitated only briefly before nodding. Vrax established communication with the station, speaking rapidly in his native language before switching to the translation system. I have informed Security Commander Zethnar of a possible attack. DWC protocols have been activated. Which means, Helena pressed. The station is now at maximum alert. All biocontainment systems are sealed. No ships may approach or depart. Another explosion echoed through the ship. They've breached Deck 4, reported a security officer. They're heading for the main cargo bay. That's where the bioagent is contained, Helena realized. Vega, status of the containment procedures? Holding for now, Colonel. But if they have the right equipment, they will... Helena cut him off. Suri, can you neutralize the compound? Not without specific counteragents. I'd need access to a fully equipped laboratory. Helena turned to Vrax. The Council Station has biocontainment facilities, yes? The finest in the galaxy, he confirmed. Then that's our play. We need to get the compound to your scientists before these mercenaries can weaponize it. She turned to Tobin. Prepare a secure container for transport. Suri will accompany the sample to the station under Council escort. Colonel, we have another problem, Tobin interrupted, pointing to the tactical display. A warship just appeared on long-range sensors. Configuration matches the Iron Maw, a known DWC enforcement vessel. Vrax's posture stiffened. I did not authorize this. Someone did. Helena's voice was steel. And they're positioning to block our escape vectors. The situation was deteriorating rapidly. Intruders were fighting their way through the ship. An unauthorized DWC warship was approaching, and they were sitting on a biological weapon that could spark interstellar war. We need to move now, Helena decided. Suri, prepare the sample for transport. Commander Tobin, you have the bridge. General Vrax, I need your security clearance to get a shuttle through to the station. And what will you be doing, Colonel? Vrax inquired. Helena checked her sidearm. I'm going to find out who's trying to start a war. Helena led a team of security personnel toward the cargo bay, moving swiftly through the ship's corridors. The sounds of combat echoed from nearby sections. The intruders were meeting resistance from the ship's security forces, but they were advancing steadily. Colonel, Vega's voice came through her communicator. We've captured one of the intruders. You might want to see this. She diverted to a nearby security station where Vega stood over a restrained figure in combat armor. The helmet had been removed, revealing a human face, pale, with military-grade neural implants visible at the temples. Identified him through his biometrics, Vega reported. Former Earth Special Forces, now working for private military contractor Obsidian Shield. Obsidian Shield is a Helian Dynamics subsidiary, Helena noted, crouching to look the captive in the eye. Who hired you? The man's eyes were unfocused. likely due to combat stimulants. Contract. Confidential. Just following. Extraction parameters. Extraction of what? The package, Bay 3, Priority Alpha. Helena stood, mind racing. They're after the bioagent, but not to deploy it here. They want to take it somewhere else. Where? Vega pressed the captive. The man's eyes rolled back slightly, neural implants flashing. Systems shutting down. Remote override. His body convulsed, then went still. Dead? Helena asked sharply. Suri, who had joined them, ran a quick scan. No, but his neural systems have been remotely deactivated. Someone doesn't want him talking. We've seen this before, Helena said grimly. Mercenary failsafes. If they're captured, their employers can shut them down remotely. Their communicators buzzed simultaneously. Colonel, Tobin's voice was urgent. The Iron Maw has launched boarding shuttles. They're on an intercept course. Understood. Maintain defensive posture, but do not fire unless fired upon. Helena turned to her team. Change of plans. Suri, you and Vega secure the bioagent. I'll escort General Vrax to intercept these DWC boarders. If anyone can call them off, it's him. And if he can't, Suri asked quietly, then we're about to find out who's really pulling the strings. Helena and Vrax, accompanied by a security detail, made their way to the primary docking bay where the DWC shuttles would likely attempt to board. As they moved, Helena noticed Vrax's agitation. His armored limbs clicked against his exoskeleton more frequently. General, what aren't you telling me? She demanded as they entered a lift. Vrax's breathing apparatus hissed before he responded. The Iron Maw is commanded by Captain Krozek. He is devoted to protecting the Council from threats. Meaning? Meaning he views humanity as an existential danger. He opposed your invitation to the Council session. And he wouldn't hesitate to create evidence supporting his view. Helena concluded. Is he working with Helion dynamics? Impossible. Vrax's mandibles clicked rapidly. Krozek despises humans. The enemy of my enemy, Helena muttered. Someone's orchestrating this, General, and we're running out of time to stop them. The lift doors opened to reveal chaos. The intruders had reached the primary docking bay and were engaged in a firefight with ship security. Simultaneously, the outer bay doors were being breached, the unmistakable molecular acid eating through the reinforced metal. Take cover, Helena shouted, as energy weapons fire lanced across the bay. They ducked behind cargo containers as the bay doors finally gave way, revealing a DWC boarding craft. Armored figures poured out, immediately opening fire, not just on the human security forces, but on the human mercenaries as well. Krozek's troops are targeting everyone, Vrax observed, his own weapon now drawn. They're eliminating witnesses. Helena realized. General, you need to assert your authority. Vrax stepped forward, his imposing figure briefly stopping the DWC troops' advance. He spoke in his native language, the clicking sounds echoing through the bay. The response was immediate, and not what Helena expected. The DWC troops opened fire on Vrax, forcing him back into cover beside her. I take it they don't recognize your authority? Helena commented dryly. Returning fire with precision shots aimed to disable, not kill. Krozek has declared emergency protocols, Vrax explained, his voice tight. He claims human bioweapons have been detected, justifying extermination measures. Convenient, Helena muttered, and exactly what someone wants. Her communicator activated. Colonel, it was Suri. We've secured the bioagent, but there's a problem. The container's been tampered with. It's leaking into the ship's ventilation system. Helena's blood ran cold. Containment protocols? Initiated, but it's spreading. We have minutes at most before it reaches critical concentration. Helena made a rapid decision. Vent it. Open the emergency atmospheric purge and flush the entire system into space. Colonel, That will depressurize half the ship. Better than all of us dying from a bioweapon. Do it now. All personnel, emergency breathing apparatus. Code Black. She activated her own emergency mask, watching as Vrax and her security team did the same. Throughout the ship, airtight compartments would be sealing, and crew donning emergency equipment. The ship's alarm changed tone, indicating the imminent atmospheric purge. The fighting in the bay momentarily halted as both sides processed the new threat. You, Helena pointed to the nearest human mercenary. And you, she indicated a DWC soldier. In about 30 seconds, we're all going to be very dead or working together. Your choice. The bay's emergency doors began to close as the atmospheric systems prepared to vent. Some mercenaries made a dash for their shuttle, only to be cut down by DWC fire. Others dropped their weapons, recognizing the greater threat. Venting initiated, came the announcement. The distinctive whoosh of air being sucked into space echoed through the ship. In the momentary confusion, Helena grabbed Vrax and pushed toward the inner doors. We need to reach the bridge, now! They barely made it through before the doors sealed, leaving the bay to depressurize. Emergency lighting bathed the corridors in red as they moved swiftly toward the command center. Colonel, Suri's voice came through the comm. I've managed to isolate samples of the compound before venting. Initial analysis shows it's been modified from the original formula. Modified how? Helena demanded as they ran. It's been engineered to target specific DNA sequences, Council species signatures. It would have been harmless to humans, but devastating to the DWC delegates. They reached the bridge, finding Tobin coordinating emergency responses across the ship. Status report, Helena demanded, removing her emergency mask now that they were in a secure, pressurized section. Atmospheric purge successful in affected sections, Tobin reported. Minimal casualties from depressurization. Crew followed protocols. But we've got a bigger problem. The Iron Maw is powering weapon systems. Helena turned to Vrax. Your move, General. Are you going to let Krozek start a war? Vrax stepped to the communication station. Open a direct channel to the Iron Maw. When the connection established, he spoke with authority, his translator rendering his clicking speech into the common language. Captain Krozek, this is General Vrax. Stand down immediately. You are in violation of Council directives. The image that appeared on screen showed another armored figure, though with distinctive red markings on the exoskeleton. General, with respect, we detected biological weapon signatures from the human vessel. Protocol dictates immediate neutralization. The threat has been contained, Vrax countered. Furthermore, evidence suggests sabotage, not by these humans, but by elements seeking to provoke conflict. Convenient claims. Krozek's translated voice dripped with skepticism. Humans have a history of biological warfare. The Council has authorized preemptive measures. The Council has authorized no such thing. Vrax's mandibles clicked rapidly in what Helena recognized as agitation. Who gave you these orders, Captain? A slight hesitation. Counselor Mesdar transmitted the authorization code. Helena glanced at Vrax, noting his reaction, a subtle shift in posture that suggested surprise. Mesdar does not have military authority, Vrax stated. Stand down and await further instructions. I cannot comply. General, the threat must be neutralized. The transmission cut off abruptly. Friend of yours? Helena asked dryly. Mesdar represents corporate interests on the Council, Vrax explained. Specifically, biological research conglomerates that profit from Deathworld exploitation. Corporations that would compete with Helion Dynamics, Suri noted. Joining them on the bridge? Helena's mind raced, connecting pieces. A corporate war. Then, Helion wants to eliminate competition by triggering conflict between Earth and the Council. While Mesdar's allies eliminate a potential rival by destroying your ship, Vrax concluded. Two predators using us as pawns. Colonel, Tobin interrupted. The Iron Maw is targeting our engines. Impact in 30 seconds. Evasive maneuvers, Helena ordered. Prepare defensive countermeasures only. If you do not return fire, your ship will be crippled, Vrax observed. And if we do, we prove everything Krozek believes about humanity, Helena countered. Sometimes the only way to win is not to play. The ship shuddered as thrusters engaged, attempting to move the massive vessel out of the Iron Maw's targeting solutions. But in the confined space near the station, their options were limited. Colonel, Suri approached, holding a secure container. I've preserved samples of the bioagent and compiled analysis data. The molecular structure contains identification markers, corporate signatures embedded at the genetic level. Proof of Helion's involvement, Helena nodded. But how do we get it to the Council before that ship blows us apart? I have an idea, Vrax said suddenly. But it requires trust. I'm listening. My shuttle remains docked to your vessel. It carries diplomatic overrides for the station's security systems. If we can transmit the evidence directly to the Council chamber. They might order Krozek to stand down, Helena finished. Suri, can you package the data for transmission? Already done. Suri held up a data crystal. But we'll need a secure channel to bypass any interference. My shuttle has quantum-entangled communications, Vrax offered. Unblockable. Helena made her decision. Let's move. They rushed toward the docking bay where Vrax's shuttle remained secured. As they moved, the ship continued evasive maneuvers, rocking violently when glancing hits from the Iron Maw's weapons found their mark. Hull breach on Deck 7, came a report. Emergency bulkheads holding. When they reached Vrax's shuttle, they found 2 DWC guards still stationed outside. They raised weapons at Helena's approach. Stand down, Vrax ordered. These humans are under my protection. The guards hesitated, mandibles clicking in their native language. Now! Vrax's command was unmistakable, and the guards lowered their weapons. Inside the shuttle, Vrax moved to the communications array, a complex system of crystalline structures and biological components typical of advanced Deathworld technology. Your evidence. He held out a clawed appendage to Suri, who handed over the data crystal. Vrax inserted it into the system, manipulating controls with practiced efficiency. I am transmitting directly to the Council chamber. All delegates will receive this simultaneously. And Mesdar won't be able to intercept it? Helena confirmed. Impossible. The quantum link is... The shuttle rocked violently as an explosion tore through the docking clamps, partially severing the connection to the humanity's wrath. We're being targeted specifically, Helena realized. Someone knows what we're doing. Warning lights flashed throughout the shuttle as atmosphere began venting through the damaged connection point. Transmission interrupted, Vrax reported, his normally steady appendages working frantically at the controls. How much got through? Suri asked. Unknown. The quantum link is stable, but the power systems are failing. Helena activated her communicator. Tobin, status! Colonel, we've got multiple breaches. The Iron Maw is targeting key systems with surgical precision. They know exactly where to hit us. They have our schematics, Helena concluded grimly. Someone gave them detailed intelligence on the humanity's wrath. The shuttle lurched again as another explosion rocked the docking bay. We need to complete that transmission, Helena insisted, moving to the shuttle's control systems. Can we reroute power from life support temporarily? Dangerous, Vrax warned, but possible. Do it, Helena ordered. We need maybe 30 seconds of full power to the quantum link. As Vrax worked to reroute systems, Helena's communicator activated again. Colonel, it was Vega, his voice tight with urgency. We've captured another intruder, different from the mercenaries. You need to see this. Kinda busy here, Chief. It's a Helion Dynamics executive. He was trying to access the main computer core. Helena exchanged glances with Suri. Bring him to Docking Bay 2. We'll meet you there. As Vrax continued working on the transmission, Helena and Suri made their way to the adjacent bay. There, they found Vega and two security officers holding a man in expensive civilian attire, clearly not military, though the neural implants at his temples suggested corporate enhancement. Director Alistair Mercer. The man introduced himself before Helena could speak. Hellion Dynamics, Special Projects Division. I believe we have mutual interests, Colonel. Like sabotaging my ship and trying to start an interstellar war, Helena replied coldly. Mercer smiled thinly. A regrettable misunderstanding. I'm here to help resolve the situation. By accessing our computer core? To neutralize the bioagent. Of course. Mercer's expression remained composed. Hellion Dynamics would never risk actual deployment of such a weapon. It was merely a demonstration for potential buyers. A demonstration that nearly killed my crew and council delegates. Helena's voice was ice. Who's your buyer? Director? Someone on the council? A flicker of surprise crossed Mercer's face before he controlled it. I'm not at liberty to discuss client relationships. Mesdar, Helena guessed. You're selling to both sides, aren't you? Earth and Council corporations, playing them against each other. Before Mercer could respond, the ship rocked violently. Another direct hit from the Iron Maw. Colonel! Vrax called from the shuttle. Transmission resuming, but we need more time. Helena made a quick decision. Vega, secure the director. Suri with me. They returned to Vrax's shuttle, where the transmission systems were now glowing with rerouted power. How much longer? Helena demanded. The evidence data is substantial, Vrax explained, mandibles working nervously. The quantum link is stable, but slow due to power fluctuations. Another hit rocked the ship, and warning systems blared throughout the docking bay. Critical failure in docking clamps. The automated system announced. Emergency disconnect initiated. No! Vrax's voice carried genuine alarm. If the shuttle disconnects now, the transmission will fail. Helena lunged for the manual override, slamming her fist against the emergency disconnect cancellation. How much longer? Seconds, Vrax assured her, appendages working furiously across the controls. Just a few more. The console suddenly glowed green, and Vrax's posture relaxed slightly. Transmission complete. The Council has the evidence. Helena allowed herself a moment of relief before activating her communicator. Tobin, status of the Iron Maw? Still in attack position, Colonel. No change in their weapon systems. They haven't received orders to stand down yet, Helena realized. How long before the Council reviews the evidence and acts? Too long, Vrax admitted. Bureaucracy is a universal constant. Another explosion rocked the ship, this one closer and more violent. The deck beneath them buckled slightly. Direct hit to our propulsion systems, Tobin reported. We're losing maneuverability. Helena turned to Vrax. I need to speak to the Council directly, now. Impossible, Vrax began, but Helena cut him off. Nothing's impossible. Your shuttle, your codes, your authority. Get me a direct line to the Council chamber. Vrax hesitated only briefly before nodding. It would violate protocols, but these are exceptional circumstances. As Vrax worked to establish the connection, Helena formulated her approach. This would be humanity's first direct address to the assembled Deathworld Council, a moment that would either begin a new era of cooperation or cement them as enemies forever. Connection established, Vrax announced. You are addressing the full Council, Colonel. Choose your words carefully. Helena stepped before the communications array, straightening her posture despite the exhaustion and stress of the past hours. Members of the Deathworld Council, she began, her voice steady. I am Colonel Helena Cross of Earth's Expeditionary Fleet. My ship has been attacked, my crew endangered, and a biological weapon planted on board, all as part of a corporate conspiracy to trigger war between our peoples. She paused, allowing her words to register. You have received evidence of Hellion Dynamics' involvement in creating this weapon. What you may not know is that we have captured Director Alistair Mercer, who has admitted this was a demonstration for buyers, including council corporations. Murmurs could be heard through the communication system. I do not ask for justice only against Earth's corporations, but for a full investigation into all parties involved, including Councillor Mesdar, who authorized military action against my vessel without proper authority. The murmuring grew louder. Humanity has come to the Council not as conquerors, but as equals. We have evolved on a Deathworld, as you have. We understand survival at any cost. But today, we choose a different path. Cooperation over conflict, transparency over deception. Helena leaned forward slightly, emphasizing her next words. As a gesture of good faith, I have ordered my crew not to return fire against the Iron Maw, despite multiple direct hits. I ask now that the Council order Captain Krozek to stand down, so that we may resolve this matter peacefully. There was silence for a long moment before a new voice responded, smooth and authoritative. Colonel Cross, this is High Counselor Zevran. Your words are noted, as is your restraint. Captain Krozek has been ordered to cease fire immediately. Councillor Mesdar has been temporarily suspended, pending investigation. Helena felt a wave of relief, quickly tempered by caution. And Director Mercer? He will be taken into council custody for questioning, Zevran continued, as will samples of the biological agent for independent analysis. We will cooperate fully, Helena assured them. Humanity seeks only honest dialogue and mutual respect. Then, perhaps this unfortunate incident may yet yield positive outcomes. Zevran concluded. A formal hearing will be convened once all evidence has been examined. Until then, Colonel, your ship will remain under protective observation, and your delegation's appearance before the Council will proceed as scheduled. The transmission ended, and Helena turned to find Vrax studying her intently. Impressive. The General's translator rendered his clicking speech. You showed restraint when provoked and wisdom when addressing the Council. I did what was necessary to protect my ship and crew, Helena replied simply, and to prevent a war that would benefit no one but arms dealers. Perhaps humans are not the mindless aggressors some believe, Vrax observed. And perhaps the Council isn't the rigid bureaucracy we feared, Helena countered with a slight smile. Their moment of understanding was interrupted by another communication from the bridge. Colonel, Tobin reported, the Iron Maw has powered down weapons systems and is withdrawing to a non-threatening distance. Council security vessels are approaching to escort us to the station. Acknowledged. Begin damage assessment and prepare a report on casualties and repairs needed. Helena turned back to Vrax. It seems we have a diplomatic meeting to prepare for. General. Indeed, Vrax agreed, though I suspect the agenda has changed considerably. As they made their way back to the bridge, stepping carefully over debris from the battle, Helena reflected on the day's events. What had begun as a carefully planned diplomatic mission had descended into violence and betrayal, exposing corruption on both sides. Yet somehow, they had emerged with the possibility of genuine understanding. On the bridge, Suri was waiting with updated analysis. The bioagent has been fully contained. Atmospheric scrubbers are completing decontamination procedures. Casualties? Helena asked, dreading the answer. 7 crew members with serious injuries from the firefight and explosive decompressions. No fatalities, Suri reported, her relief evident. The mercenaries weren't trying to kill, Helena noted. Just create chaos and secure the bioagent. A demonstration, as Mercer said. Suri agreed, though that hardly absolves them. Helena moved to the command chair, surveying the damage reports flowing in. The Humanity's Wrath had sustained significant damage to its outer hull and propulsion systems, but the core ship functions remained operational. Colonel, Tobin approached with a security update. Director Mercer is secured in the brig. He's requesting to speak with you again. Helena considered this. Not yet. Let him wait while we prepare for the council meeting. I want him to understand the severity of his actions. As repair crews work to stabilize damaged systems, Helena drafted her formal address to the Council. This would be humanity's official introduction to the galactic community of Deathworld species, a moment that would define their relationships for generations to come. Vrax remained aboard, coordinating with Council security vessels as they approached the station. His presence on the bridge drew curious glances from the crew, but Helena noted with approval that they treated him with professional respect. "Your crew adapts quickly," Vrax observed. "They do not seem disturbed by my presence." "Humanity has encountered many species in our expansion," Helena explained. "Adaptation is our greatest strength." "And perhaps your greatest danger," Vrax added. "You adapt, evolve, and consume resources at an alarming rate. Many on the Council fear you will outgrow your boundaries." "All the more reason for clear agreements and mutual understanding," Helena countered. "We don't seek to replace the Council's authority, but to join it as equals." Hours later, as the damaged humanity's Wrath docked with the Council station under escort, Helena prepared her diplomatic team. The original plans for a formal procession had been abandoned in favor of a more direct approach. Helena, Suri, and 3 security officers would accompany Vrax to the Council chamber, while Tobin maintained command of the ship. "Remember," Helena instructed her team as they donned the required atmospheric converters. "We are representatives of all humanity today. Every word, every action will be scrutinized." The device around her neck activated, creating a microscopic field that filtered the station's mixed atmosphere to human-compatible levels, while preventing human microbes from contaminating the shared space. It was uncomfortable but necessary, a physical reminder of the barriers they sought to overcome. As they exited through the docking tube, Helena noticed dried crimson streaks along the hull of the humanity's Wrath, blood from the wounded during the battle, now crystallized in the vacuum of space. The sight was sobering, a stark reminder of the cost of their mission. The Council station was a marvel of engineering, a massive structure with environments suitable for dozens of Deathworld species. The central corridors were maintained at a neutral temperature and pressure, with specialized chambers branching off for species with more extreme requirements. Vrax led them through security checkpoints where both human and alien guards scrutinized their credentials. Helena noted the wary glances, the subtle shifting of postures as they passed. These beings had heard stories of human aggression for generations. "The Council is already in session," Vrax informed them as they approached massive doors inscribed with symbols from a dozen worlds. "Your arrival has been anticipated since the incident." The doors parted, revealing a vast chamber arranged in concentric circles. Delegates from at least 20 species occupied specialized environmental pods, while the central floor featured a speaker's platform. All eyes turned to Helena's group as they entered. High Counselor Zevran, identifiable by elaborate markings on his environmental suit, rose from the central position. "Colonel Cross of Earth, you come before us under unusual circumstances. Circumstances that have revealed corruption and conspiracy on both sides," Helena replied, her voice carrying through the chamber's acoustics. "I stand ready to present humanity's case for Council membership. But first, I believe we must address the attempt to sabotage this historic meeting." Murmurs rippled through the assembled delegates. "Indeed," Zevran agreed. "The evidence you provided is being verified by our scientists. Director Mercer has been transferred to Council custody, as has Counselor Mesdar. But questions remain about humanity's intentions." Helena stepped forward, conscious of the weight of Earth's future on her shoulders. "Then let me be clear. Humanity does not seek conquest or domination. We seek partnership. Like all of you, we evolved on a world that tried daily to kill us. We understand the harsh calculus of survival." She gestured to the delegates around the chamber. "Each of you represents a species that fought, adapted, and overcame impossible odds. So did we. That shared experience should unite us, not divide us." A delegate rose from a pod filled with swirling mist, a Vextari. Helena, recognized from briefings. Pretty words, human. But your actions speak louder. Your corporations develop bioweapons. Your military vessels carry enough firepower to glass planets. Your expansion has consumed resources at an unprecedented rate. Helena nodded, acknowledging the criticism. All true. We have made mistakes, grave ones. We have been predators when we should have been partners. But we can change. We are changing. She turned, including all delegates in her gaze. The attempt to trigger war between us proves one thing. Those who profit from conflict fear our potential alliance. They know that united, Deathworld species could create a more just and stable galaxy. Another delegate rose, this one encased in crystalline armor that refracted light in hypnotic patterns. What guarantees can Earth provide that you will not use Council membership to gain tactical advantages against us? No guarantees would satisfy you completely, Helena admitted. Just as we have no guarantee that the Council won't attempt to quarantine Earth once we've shared our technological advances. Trust must be built over time, through actions, not words. She reached into a pocket, withdrawing a small data crystal. As a first step, I am authorized to share Earth's complete research on Deathworld biological defense systems, including countermeasures to weapons like the one planted on my ship. This caused a stir among the delegates. Such information was valuable beyond measure, potentially saving millions of lives across Council worlds. Furthermore, Helena continued, Earth proposes a joint military task force to identify and neutralize illegal weapons development by any species, including humans. No more will corporations like Helion Dynamics or their Council counterparts profit from our mutual destruction. High Counselor Zevran's environmental suit shifted slightly as he considered her words. Bold proposals, Colonel, but implementation would require unprecedented cooperation. Unprecedented, yes, Helena agreed. But necessary. The alternative is perpetual suspicion and eventual conflict. Exactly what those who arranged today's incident desire. The chamber fell silent as delegates communicated through their own channels, evaluating Helena's words. Finally, Zevran spoke again. The Council will deliberate on Earth's application for membership. Until then, Colonel Cross, you and your crew will remain as honored guests. A formal response will be provided within one planetary rotation. Helena bowed slightly. A gesture of respect she had been advised would translate across most Deathworld cultures. We await your decision, High Counselor. As they were escorted from the chamber, Suri moved closer to Helena. That went better than expected. Perhaps, Helena kept her voice low, but the real negotiations are happening behind closed doors now. Vrax, who had remained silent during the council session, joined them as they were led to guest quarters. You impressed many delegates, Colonel, even those predisposed to distrust humans. But not all, Helena noted. No, some fear is too deeply ingrained to overcome in a single meeting. Their assigned quarters were Spartan but comfortable, adapted for human physiological needs. As her team settled in, Helena reviewed reports from the Humanity's Wrath. Repairs were proceeding, and the captured mercenaries were providing valuable intelligence under questioning. Hours passed as Helena prepared for various possible outcomes of the Council's deliberation. If accepted, humanity would gain access to vast new resources and technologies. If rejected, they would face potential isolation or even hostility from a united front of Deathworld species. Her contemplation was interrupted by a communication alert. Colonel Cross, the system announced, your presence is requested in Interrogation Chamber 4. Interrogation Chamber? Suri looked concerned. Director Mercer is being questioned, Vrax explained. The Council believes your presence may be motivational. Helena nodded grimly. Lead the way. The interrogation chamber was clinically sterile, with Director Mercer secured to a chair in the center. Various monitoring devices tracked his vital signs and neural patterns. He looked significantly less composed than during their previous encounter. "Colonel Cross," he acknowledged her with forced casualness. "Come to witness my cooperation with our alien friends?" "I've come to ensure you understand the consequences of your actions," Helena replied coldly. "You nearly started an interstellar war for profit." "A regrettable miscalculation," Mercer admitted. "The demonstration was supposed to be controlled, impressive enough to secure contracts, but not catastrophic." "Tell that to my wounded crew members." Mercer's expression hardened. "Casualties of progress. Colonel, Hellion Dynamics has advanced human security more than any government program. We've developed defenses against a dozen Deathworld threats, while creating new ones to sell to the highest bidder," Helena countered, "including council corporations." "The council is not the monolithic entity you imagine." Mercer leaned forward, neural implants glinting under the harsh lights. "It's riddled with factions, corporate interests, and power struggles, just like Earth's governments. We were simply exploiting existing divisions. For profit. For human advantage," Mercer insisted. "Every technology we developed could be used to defend Earth if these negotiations failed. We were creating insurance. You were creating catastrophe." Helena's voice was steel. "And now you'll face justice. Not just Earth's, but the Council's as well." Mercer's confidence faltered slightly. "The Council has no jurisdiction over Earth citizens." "It does when they commit crimes in Council space," Vrax interjected. "And attempting to deploy bioweapons on a Council station qualifies." Mercer fell silent, the implications sinking in. Council justice for Deathworld crimes was notoriously harsh, evolved from societies where survival required extreme measures. "Who were your contacts on the Council?" Helena pressed. "Beyond Mesdar?" Mercer hesitated, calculating his options. "I want immunity." "Not mine to give," Helena replied honestly. "But cooperation might influence both Earth and Council sentencing." After a long moment, Mercer nodded slightly. There were 3 primary contacts. Mesdar coordinated, but Councillor Vex from the Taurian delegation handled financial transfers, and Sub-Minister Krell provided intelligence on Council security systems. Vrax's posture shifted. Surprise. Helena interpreted, "Krell is Chief Zethnar's deputy," which explains how they knew exactly where to hit my ship. Helena realized. "The corruption goes deeper than we thought." "Always does," Mercer remarked with cynical certainty. "Power attracts the corrupted and corrupts the powerful, humans or aliens. The equation remains the same." Helena turned away in disgust. "Record his statement and forward it to the High Counselor. This conspiracy needs to be rooted out completely." As they left the interrogation chamber, Vrax's communication device activated. "General Vrax," he answered, the clicking sounds of his native language followed by a pause. "Understood. We will attend." He turned to Helena. "The Council has reached a preliminary decision. We are summoned." They returned to the Council chamber, now dimly lit for what appeared to be a more formal session. Only the High Council members occupied the inner circle, 7 representatives from the founding Deathworld species. High Counselor Zevran gestured for Helena to approach the central platform. "Colonel Cross, the Council has deliberated on Earth's application and the events of the past rotation." Helena steeled herself, aware that this moment would shape humanity's future. "Director Mercer's testimony has revealed corruption more extensive than initially believed." Zevran continued. "Investigation continues, but already 3 council members have been suspended." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. "In light of these revelations, and your actions to prevent conflict despite provocation, the Council has reached a consensus. Earth will be granted provisional membership status, with full integration to be evaluated after a standard cycle." Helena felt a wave of relief, quickly tempered by caution. Provisional status? Earth will participate in Council deliberations and gain access to shared technologies. Zevran explained. However, certain restrictions will apply until trust is fully established. What restrictions? Helena asked carefully. Earth vessels in Council space will submit to security inspections. Human corporations developing Deathworld technologies will accept Council oversight. And an exchange program will be established. Council observers on Earth, and human representatives on Council worlds. Fair terms. Helena assessed. Restrictive, but not punitive. And the joint task force I proposed? Approved in principle, Zevran confirmed. Details to be finalized during your provisional period. Helena nodded. Earth accepts these terms. High Counselor, we look forward to proving ourselves worthy of full membership. There is one more matter, Zevran added. The incident aboard your vessel has demonstrated the danger of biological weapons derived from Deathworld organisms. The Council proposes a new treaty, the Synthar Defense Accord, prohibiting such weapons except for defensive research under strict oversight. Earth would be willing to sign such an accord. Helena agreed. Provided all Council members are held to the same standards. They will be, Zevran assured her. The corruption exposed by today's events has focused the Council's attention on enforcing equal application of our laws. The formal ceremony that followed was brief, but significant. Helena signing the Provisional Membership Agreement and the Synthar Defense Accord on behalf of Earth, while the High Council members added their marks using methods unique to their species. As the ceremony concluded, Helena found herself standing beside Vrax, watching the delegates disperse. A historic day, the General observed, though not as any of us planned. The best plans rarely survive first contact, Helena replied with a tired smile. An apt military axiom, Vrax agreed. Your ship will require extensive repairs before returning to Earth. The Council has authorized use of our facilities. Thank you. I'll inform my crew. As they walked toward the communication station, Vrax made an observation. Your vessel, the bloodstains on its hull from the battle, they have crystallized in the vacuum. We'll clean them during repairs, Helena assured him. Perhaps not, Vrax suggested. Among many Deathworld species, blood shed in defense of principles is considered sacred. The marks on your ship tell a story, how humanity arrived at the Council with blood on their ships, yet chose peace over vengeance. Helena considered this. A symbol, then. A powerful one, Vrax confirmed. It may help change perceptions more than any diplomatic speech. When they reached the Humanity's Wrath, Helena found Tobin overseeing repair operations. Crew members moved efficiently despite their exhaustion, working alongside Council engineers who had been granted access to the damaged systems. Quite a first day of diplomacy, Colonel, Tobin remarked dryly. Not exactly how I planned to introduce humanity to the Council, Helena admitted. Sometimes the worst circumstances reveal the best intentions. Suri joined them, data tablet in hand. The Council scientists have been remarkably forthcoming with technical assistance once they verified our accounts. Helena looked out through a viewport at the massive Council station, a structure built by species who had all faced extinction on their homeworlds and survived through adaptation and determination. Not so different from humanity's own journey. Begin preparations for our extended stay, she instructed. We'll need to establish secure communications with Earth Command and prepare for the arrival of diplomatic personnel. And the blood on our hull? Tobin inquired, having overheard her conversation with Vrax. Helena studied the crystallized patterns, ruby streaks against the dark metal, visible even from this distance. Leave it. Let it remind everyone what we fought for today, and what we're willing to sacrifice for peace. As repair crews continued their work, Helena retired to her quarters to draft her report to Earth Command. The day's events would require careful explanation. The attack, the conspiracy, the provisional agreement with the Council. Some on Earth would view the restrictions as an infringement on sovereignty, while others would celebrate the diplomatic breakthrough. A chime announced Suri's arrival. "Colonel, final casualty report. All wounded are stable, and the medical facilities here are impressive. Several crew members have already been fully treated and returned to duty." "Good news," Helena nodded. "What about the bioagent? Has it been completely neutralized?" "Better than that," Suri smiled slightly. "Council scientists have helped develop an improved counteragent. The formula is being shared as a gesture of goodwill, first fruits of our new alliance." Helena leaned back, feeling the weight of the past days. An alliance born in fire and sealed with blood. Not how I imagined this mission would go. "But perhaps exactly what was needed," Suri suggested. "A crisis that forced both sides to choose between suspicion and cooperation." "And we chose cooperation," Helena mused. "Even when attacked. Even when it would have been easier to fight back." "That decision may have changed the course of interstellar relations," Suri observed. "The Council respects strength, but they value wisdom more." Later, as Helena stood on the observation deck watching Council vessels and the Humanity's Wrath side by side in the shadow of Aegis, she reflected on the journey ahead. Provisional membership was just the beginning. Humanity would need to prove itself worthy of full integration into the galactic community of Deathworld species. She noticed Vrax approaching, his exoskeletal armor gleaming under the deck lights. "Your crew has adapted remarkably well to the station environment," he commented. "They show none of the discomfort most species experience during first contact." "Adaptability is our specialty," Helena replied. "For better or worse." "Indeed." Vrax moved to stand beside her at the viewport. "The High Council has appointed me liaison to Earth during the provisional period. I will accompany you when your ship returns home." Helena raised an eyebrow. "A prestigious assignment, or a convenient way to keep a potential problem under observation?" Vrax's breathing apparatus hissed softly, his version of a laugh. "Perhaps both. The Council values efficiency." They stood in companionable silence, watching the stars beyond the station. "What happens now?" Helena finally asked. "Now we begin the real work," Vrax answered. "Treaties must be implemented, exchange programs established, corporations on both sides monitored to prevent another Helion Dynamics incident. And the conspirators? Justice will be served. Council justice for Council members. Earth justice for your people." Vrax turned to face her directly. "But more importantly, safeguards will be created to prevent such manipulation in the future." Helena nodded, understanding the magnitude of the task ahead. "Not just policies and inspections, but trust. Real trust, built day by day." "Yes," Vrax agreed. "The hardest resource to acquire and the easiest to lose." As they continued their observation, a small Council vessel passed close to the Humanity's Wrath. Its pilot slowed, clearly studying the crystallized blood patterns on the human ship's hull. "They will tell stories about this day," Vrax noted. "How humans arrived at the Deathworld Council with blood on their ships, yet chose words over weapons." "I hope they remember the whole story," Helena replied. "How corruption on both sides nearly triggered war, and how cooperation prevented it. Stories simplify with time." Vrax's translator rendered his philosophical tone. "But symbols endure. Your bloodied ship will become such a symbol, a reminder that even predators can choose peace." As Helena prepared to return to her duties, she took one final look at the Humanity's Wrath. Its damaged hull would be repaired, systems upgraded, crew rotated, but the crystallized blood would remain. A testament to the day humanity joined the community of Deathworld species, not through conquest, but through shared sacrifice and common purpose. The journey ahead would not be easy. Centuries of suspicion and misunderstanding could not be erased in a single diplomatic mission. But they had taken the first step, proving that even species evolved for survival at any cost could choose cooperation over conflict when it mattered most. And perhaps that, more than any treaty or accord, was the true foundation for the future they sought to build together.